Hello. Thank you for visiting the Other Woman and Man Stories channel. Don't forget to subscribe. And here we go. The story will be told from the perspective of a girl named Alissa. Hello, everyone. My name is Alissa, and I'm 25 years old. This whole story began about 6 years ago during the summer. I remember we were strolling along the promenade with my girlfriends when suddenly a guy passed by. He was tall, with a great posture, fit, and incredibly handsome. His phone died, and he asked me if he could make a call. Maybe it was a genuine need, or perhaps just a way to strike up a conversation, but I noticed him back then. We got to know each other and talked. Our acquaintance didn't end with just one meeting. As time went by, we grew closer. I was immediately taken with him, and over time I fell head over heels in love with him. Back then, he was unemployed and had little money. But what attracted me to him was his resourcefulness, attentiveness, and his habit of often surprising me with little gestures. Being with him was easy and fun, and I knew he would always be there for me, that nothing bad would happen, because there were no problems he couldn't handle. He was a reliable man who would always find a way out of any situation. We dated for a year, and then James rented an apartment, and we moved in together. Of course, we had our disagreements, like any couple, especially in the beginning of our life together. As time went on, James started earning quite well, which was surprising considering he didn't have a higher education. He worked as a personal driver for a wealthy businessman, often going on business trips, but he always made sure to give me his attention. It felt like he was always there, as if he was in the next room. Whenever he was sent on an overseas trip, he would take me along. Life seemed like a true paradise on earth, and he never denied me anything. My friends envied me, and I couldn't blame them. After 6 months, we got married. James decided to build a house because he didn't want to live in an apartment anymore. He insisted on building our family nest with his own hands. Everything was wonderful, but soon the routine of married life settled in, and the passion in our relationship diminished significantly. We hit a rough patch, and the heavenly happiness seemed to fade away, while my perception of James began to change. Sometimes I felt like our relationship, the passion, and the love became some kind of habit. Everything became monotonous and dull. 2 years ago, I graduated from university and finally landed a job in a prestigious company. My days were filled with work responsibilities and getting to know new colleagues. Among them was Anthony, a young man whose attractiveness and charisma didn't leave any girl in the office indifferent, including me. There was something familiar about him, something that reminded me of my husband James, the guy I was deeply in love with before our wedding. At first, I didn't pay much attention to Anthony, considering our interactions purely friendly. We helped each other at work, exchanged jokes, and occasionally ended up having lunch together. But with time, his interest in me became more evident. He invited me for walks after work, planned little dates, and surprised me with gifts. Day by day, he grew more confident in his intentions. Every smile, every compliment from him stirred excitement within me, and I could feel my heart responding to his attention. Anthony's energy and persistence amazed me, and his wit and sense of humor could brighten up even the dullest, grayest days. My life was filled with new colors, and I couldn't get him out of my mind, even outside of working hours. However, doubts and worries always found their place. I felt guilty for succumbing to his charm. I genuinely loved my husband, but I couldn't deny that something new, something connected to Anthony, had appeared in my heart. I feared that all these hidden feelings of attraction would eventually become evident, and I would lose my husband. I started avoiding Anthony, trying to hide my thoughts and emotions to prevent the destruction of my life. James was sent on another 3-day business trip. Before he left, we had a terrible fight. As usual, it all started with some trivial matter, and it escalated into a full-blown argument. We said many hurtful things to each other. I felt awful after that quarrel. As soon as my husband closed the door behind him, I called Anthony and invited him over for a drink. I needed someone to talk to. He agreed and quickly arrived at my place with a bottle of wine. We drank, and I cried, pouring my heart out about how everything had become so exhausting and how tired I was of it all. Anthony listened to me, sympathized, comforted me, and held me close. Then he started kissing me, and in my emotional state, I responded to those kisses. I lost control of myself, and we ended up sleeping together. Suddenly, the unexpected happened. At the last moment, James's business trip was canceled, and he returned home. The locks in the door started turning. He entered quietly, saw unfamiliar sneakers in the hallway, and asked, "Do we have guests?" as he stepped into the room. I was lying on the bed. Anthony was beside me, and there stood James. I was ready to disappear from embarrassment. James started shouting wildly. I felt shame, fear, and disgust with myself. He grabbed Anthony, brutally beat him, and simply threw him out into the stairwell along with his belongings. Tears were flowing like a river. I was trembling, and James stood over me, just staring. I tried to explain something, apologizing, begging for forgiveness, swearing that it would never happen again. James turned away and started to leave. I ran after him, wearing only a robe, trying to hold him back in the stairwell. I grabbed his hand, but he slapped me. Covering my face with my hands, I slowly slid down the wall and sat on the steps. James never laid a hand on me. I cried, not from physical pain, but from the mistake I had made. In that moment, I realized the magnitude of my actions, and it hurt me deeply to think that I betrayed the person I loved most. You made your choice. I still remember his words when we were getting divorced. If a vase is broken, all that's left are the shards. James didn't want to forgive me. I went to his workplace, visited his home, but he refused even to talk to me. I tried to meet him through his friend, but he either didn't know or didn't want to help me. I tried to find out about James, but nothing worked out. With time, I threw myself into work completely and started drinking on weekends. You'd think that a glass of wine would ease the pain, but my soul was still in pieces. I realized the mistakes I made, but nobody knew how to fix them. Life isn't a movie. No matter how much you wish to turn back time, it just won't happen. As for Anthony, I wanted to end things with him right away, but he beat me to it. He came to work and asked me not to approach him or communicate anymore. You know, it's only when you lose someone that you truly understand whom and how you love whom and what you've lost. What a fool I was. I had a loving husband, a bright future, and what was I missing? Thrills. Attention. Was it worth it? A month ago, I saw James with his new girlfriend. They stood just like we used to, and he embraced her. It hurt me to tears that he was holding her, and not me, that he loved her. And now she had all the things I had before. All the tenderness, all the love, all the perfection of James now belonged to her. I'm jealous. I know it's wrong, but I can't help it. I understand I can't win him back, but I still find myself yearning for those late-night conversations with him. I know he's doing well. He brought her into his home, not me, and he's sleeping with her. And I envy her and feel jealous now. You lose your head over something good. Stop appreciating what you have and start searching for something else. But the price of that search is too high. Think twice before making decisions. I'm 25 now, and I lost my true love. I tried to build new relationships. There were 2 guys after James, but it's just not the same. Maybe they're good people, but they're not James. They're simply different. Believe me, I'd do anything to turn back time, but the past can't be changed. You know, it was so wonderful when you lay down to sleep and he would wrap his arms around you. And you were simply happy because he was there, right beside you. That's the story. Share your thoughts in the comments about this situation and the behavior of the spouses. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and be sure to like this video. It will greatly help promote the channel. Take care and have a wonderful day.